Hello and welcome to CATEX-TV. I'm Tom Bailey in London. It's 4:30 PM in London, 11:30 Eastern Time and 12:30 in Bermuda. Today in history. Well, today has been a canal opening day in history. Today in 1869 saw the opening of the Suez Canal, and today in 1913 saw the opening of the Panama Canal. Also today in history, today in 1927, a tornado hit Washington DC. And now to the news. Up to 50 people are feared to have drowned after a wooden ferry capsized following a collision with another boat in Myanmar's Irrawaddy Delta region. More than 200 people were believed to have been on the ferry when the accident occurred on Sunday night. The single-deck motorized ferry Waywin Tun reportedly sank after colliding with an oil barge in the Ngwawan River in the southern Delta region, some 130 kilometers west of Yangon. Officials have found 31 bodies, and another 21 were still missing and feared dead. An official in Parthane, the provincial capital, said there is very little chance of finding those missing alive. Most of them are women and children. Marine accidents are common in the military-ruled Myanmar, whose 48 million people rely heavily on crowded old boats for water transport. People in the remote areas, particularly those living in the Delta region, often travel and transport goods by boat because of the low cost and lack of access by road to many areas. In March 2008, about 24 pilgrims drowned when their overcrowded motorboat sank in central Myanmar. The Irrawaddy Delta region was badly hit by Cyclone Ngaris in late April 2008, killing more than 150,000 people. Officials in Australia have issued a catastrophic fire warning for the first time during a heat wave in the south of the country. The new level of warning, which urges people to evacuate, was created after wildfires killed 173 people in the state of Victoria early this year. It replaces a policy that allowed residents to stay put and fight fires. Many of the victims in South Victoria died trying to defend their homes from the flames. Today's code red warning was issued in South Australia, where temperatures are forecast to exceed 40 degrees centigrade. A November heat wave is unusual in the state, and several days of high temperatures have left the land extremely vulnerable to fire. Residents are being strongly urged to leave their homes because of the high risk of death or destruction, although they cannot be forced to evacuate. A fire service warning said, "To ensure your survival, you should leave tonight or early tomorrow morning, well before a fire starts." Any fires in northwestern Pastoral and Flinders districts would be uncontrollable, according to the warning. Fire Service Chief Ewan Ferguson said, "In the next couple of days we are going to see high temperatures, very low humidity, very strong winds. This is the first real test for the summer." An inquiry into February's fires in Victoria found that 113 people were killed sheltering in their houses. They became known as the Black Saturday bushfires after the worst day on which 2,000 properties were destroyed in 78 communities. A chemical tanker with a crew of 28 North Koreans has been hijacked by pirates in waters off Somalia, according to the EU's naval force NAVFOR. The MV Teresa VIII, a Singaporean-operated tanker, was taken on Monday in the South Somali Basin, 180 nautical miles northwest of the Seychelles. It had been heading for Mombasa in Kenya, but was diverted north, according to NAVFOR. Meanwhile, pirates holding a Spanish trawler say they are freeing it for a ransom of at least $3.5 million. The Alacrana, a tuna boat, was hijacked last month along with its crew of 36, including 16 Spaniards, 8 Indonesians and others from Ghana and the Ivory Coast, Madagascar, Senegal and the Seychelles. The trawler, which is based in Spanish Basque Country, was seized 400 nautical miles northwest of the Seychelles island of Mahé, according to coast guards. Somali pirates using motherships to launch their small boat attacks on vessels have extended their range to an area off the Seychelles in recent months in order to evade the navies patrolling the Horn of Africa. The MV Teresa VIII was the owner of which is based in the Virgin Islands, is a tanker of 22,294 deadweight tons, according to NAVFOR. it emerged that guards aboard a Ukrainian cargo ship, the MV Lady Juliet, successfully fought off pirates in the Gulf of Aden yesterday. Pirates firing Kalashnikov assault rifles and rocket-propelled grenades approached the vessels from their mothership, but came under return fire from a NAVFOR detachment protecting the ship. NAVFOR supplies vulnerable ships with armed guards under certain circumstances. Nobody was hurt aboard the Lady Juliet, which bears a St. Vincent and the Grenadines flag, and any casualties amongst the pirates could not be confirmed. More than 10 ships and 200 hostages are currently being held by pirates operating in waters off Somalia. Many of the pirates began as fishermen and say they are stopping illegal foreign fishing boats stealing Somali fish. The upsurge in piracy in the region is a consequence of the failure to find a solution to Somalia's political disputes. The weak central government faces an Islamic insurgency, and parts of the country are broken away to form autonomous regions. A pirate spokesman who spoke by telephone to news agencies today said they expected to leave the Alakrana shortly. One told of a ransom of $4 million had already been paid by Spain, while another told Reuters that the sum of $3.5 million had been agreed upon. There was no confirmation from the Spanish government that the deal had been struck. Pirate spokesman Said Abdoulaye told the Associated French Press that the ship was technically free. He added, speaking from Hadarere in northern Somalia. He said, "We're in the process of checking the money." A pirate who gave his name as Noor told Reuters that most of his colleagues had left the Spanish ship and it could be freed sometime today. The Alakarana skipper Ricardo Black earlier told Spanish radio by phone that he expected the hijacking to end within hours. He said there were 63 pirates aboard the trawler, including the leaders of the clan behind the hijacking. Well, in theory we're approaching the end of the wind season. Obviously we had the hurricane in the Atlantic last week, the remnants of which are heading for the UK at the moment. It's all quiet in the Atlantic now, but we have Cyclone Anya in the Indian Ocean. It's near the middle, as you'll see from the map, and it's heading south to southwest with sustained winds of 115 knots. It's expected to track more southerly and then veer towards the east, and it'll remain in the middle of the ocean without threatening landfall. We'll keep you abreast of any developments with Anya as they come. The rebranded AIG company, now called Chartis, is close to separating from AIG, according to Chief Financial Officer Robert Shimek. Excuse me. Shimek said at an insurance conference in New York last Thursday that we want to have the ability to raise capital easily and have financial flexibility separate from AIG. Chartis will prepare separate financial statements for the year and will seek a credit rating. He said we want to be able to access credit markets without depending on AIG. Shimek blamed the decline in premiums to the weak economy and said that after adjusting for the sale of its Brazilian operations, the effect of foreign exchange and the company's pullback from workers' compensation business, the decline in net premiums worked out to be about 6%, which is in line with the market, he said. He continued that he expected a reasonably soft market to continue in insurance pricing. His comments come in contrast to some competitors who have charged that AIG is the one that is undercutting prices. He denied staff left because of pay controls on AIG. He said that people will move on in their careers whether or not we have the AIG situation. The silver lining is that a lot of people have stepped up into new roles, so there have been at least as many positive moves as a result of headline departures. Reuters said Shimek had said Chartis had not lost any employees because of pay limits imposed by Washington. Shimek estimated about 20 of the 100 senior managers affected by pay restrictions work for the global property casualty division. Bloomberg reported that Shimek had said Chartis will lose sales rather than cut rates to unprofitable levels, contrary to claims by rivals that it is underpricing insurance. Shimek said, "We're an organisation that has walked away from premium." He said comments from the likes of Chubb were based off their frustration that we didn't go away.